Right, so we have returned once again today to actually watch episode 17 of Orb on the Moons of the Earth, the anime series. And where we left off last episode 16 was a very good introduction to the entire world, and also a very good introduction to one of the central characters we'll be seeing in this arc, because there's two actually. I believe we see the next character this week, if I'm not mistaken. From the previews, I'm thinking we're getting her this week. So yes, Schmidt, he's a very interesting character. I feel like he's a logical progression in the character dynamic of this show, because we have people who kind of served or believed in God to a very high degree, and we have got someone who actually kind of doesn't really, possess that same kind of prowess. Instead, actually has a very interesting way of looking at things. And as on top of that, we have the idea that the church themselves don't really have the foothold they used to have originally, and I kind of find it to be quite fascinating in this kind of arc because you can tell the power they had originally versus now, and it's one of those things that I guess we will see how that is implicated later on into the series as well. So yeah, I can't wait to see what this show does do, because this show is fucking brilliant. So anyway, I've already put on Twitter actually gone live, so I will get this show right. Let me figure out if this actually is. Wait, the F buttons do something on I never knew that. Okay, so F buttons do something on Chatterino. Well, I guess. Anyway, let's get a show on the road. Let's start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's start this thing absolutely now. Cool. We get an opening this week. I wonder. I guess that's if ever needed an answer to whether or not you actually can, in theory, jump into a pool of money. Oh, you get an opening. If you ever wanted to know a concrete theory of whether or not you actually can jump into money, there's your answer. You can't. No one can Scrooge McDuck in real life. I do actually like this character a lot. I feel like she's amazing as a protagonist into this whole entire part of the anime series. Because again, we've progressed, like even like from like a logical point of view, like how people think as well. I kind of really like that, because again, it's one of those things that each arc presents something new. It's not You're not kind of following the same kind of character. You're following very different people each time. And it makes the whole world more fascinating, because you're kind of seeing more facets of that world rather than limiting the viewpoint to just one thing only. So I kind of find it to be a very interesting way of doing it. Again, probably the only other show I can think of that's done it this way, but it's very drastically different. It's probably JoJo. Everyone knows that JoJo has different characters per part, but this one kind of has in a very different degree. Also, this opening still fucking sucks. I hate it. Not in the usual context. I just hate. I've read the manga now. It hurts me every single time I watch it. It's like people are like, oh, don't skip this opening. It's amazing. I'm like, yeah, but then you watch that one panel just then, literally after Raffle in the fire. You're like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's horrible, man. Oh, like I said last time, I kind of do wonder how they might pace this arc, because I'm also seeing quite a lot of things that I thought might happen next week happen this week. So I'm quite curious. Also, I do kind of appreciate the actual the angle they take with Drucker's character as well. It's very interesting. I know I say I know I say it a lot, but I just really find what the way they present the characters in the show very fascinating. Also, I guess later on, if they happen to meet our protagonists, it'll be very interesting to see how they do kind of clash. I just kind of find the dynamic these characters share in this show is also one of the strong points. Also, one other thing I've noticed as well, like give raise to the person who actually casts all the characters in the show because, good God, they actually bring to life all the characters so perfectly. It's not one single character. I say, I probably would have put someone else's voice as that character. No, everyone's perfect, which is actually like it's really hard to pull off. And as well, like I said, like a lot. I feel like the world building in this show is like next to none when it comes to how perfect it is because we've just been introduced to Draka and everyone else, and it feels like we've actually known them for like 10 years. It's kind of impressive how they managed to actually kind of like what's the word? Integrate them into the world itself. That's the one I was looking for. It doesn't really ever feel like you're just jumping around. It feels organic. I hate having read this series now because you just you kind of look at certain things like your chest just like gets hurt badly. Also, very interesting counteract to a very crucial character in this arc as well. I do kind of like that. It's a very subtle way of doing it. Oh shit! Straight up. Whole entire show. By the way, G-Man upstairs, kind of cool. Dude, just like, nah, that dude don't exist, bro. Like I said, I kind of liked the switch in this arc completely. Like we've gone from people who both serve God and actually believe in God, like to a very scary degree, to now having people who oppose that idea completely. It's endlessly fascinating because it then feeds into the entire world itself. So, bro, ain't that a contradiction? I do also kind of like the way that actually does sort of explain why Druck is like very much into money. Like I said, the way this show actually does portray the characters, it does it so perfectly because it just gives you everything you need to know. It's kind of impressive how it does it in such a short space of time. You don't really ever feel like you're in the dark when it comes to any of the characters. You feel like you know everything you need to know about them to go forward with. So then when certain things begin to happen that sort of make you go, ooh, it feels like added bonus to the character. Adds more depth to them because you kind of get the picture of them, but then you get the larger picture, which is cool. I like the show because of that. The depression the show gives me though. I don't like that part. Dude is vibing. He is vibing. He's vibing out. Not for long though, but he's vibing. We'll say this week's episode is a little bit on the floaty side when it comes to production, but then sort of realize with this show when it matters most, it matters most. So it's not really much of an issue. I hate that we get more screen time than Tony in this arc as well. Dude's a smelly dude. I don't like him at all. I feel like we have to be with him when he's just like ill. No, get this man away from me. Dude ain't a good dude, is he? This dude's not good. I like a little bit of visual storytelling there with the tapping his finger as well. That's quite well done. I like that. Kind of did always say, didn't they? Wasn't very subtle about it. Uh-oh. What's gonna happen here? Will she finally orb? Will she finally orb? That's the real question. Oh, shit! That's a dirty way to introduce the actual chapter title. I mean, that's actually... Oh, I see you, Madhouse. Was not familiar of your game there. Oh, that's good. I like that one. Always starts with a table, doesn't it? It's always a table. and a little bit of light. I feel it's always like it's an obvious thing. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of feel that's what connects like all three arcs together. Is that realization when sitting at the table, because it happened with Raffle, happened with Bedeni, now it's happened with Draka. So I kind of feel like as well, like they're establishing this idea can in theory like almost alter the entire world in more ways than one. So technically, Bedeni and Okozi were born 25 years later. They probably could have actually had survived possibly, because it looks like the foothold the church having is gone. Plus, on top of that, maybe just maybe the church might be like, you know what, fuck it. Who knows? That's the thing. It feels like back then there were less people were less on the idea of like a change of perspective. Nowadays, are like actually maybe. I do also appreciate how Patochki always is in every single part of his arc as well. Well, in both arcs, I should say. Oh, he did always say it. He's very much staying true to his character. Like he did say to Drug that he would abandon all convictions to survive. That is his conviction. So his bold account's keeping that will alive, even if he's an asshole. But yeah, I mean, overall, a great episode and a great introduction to Drucker's character. Because it kind of gives you everything you need to know to go forward. And also now we kind of get the idea that Drucker is Orbin. What that will entail, is yet to be seen. But I can't wait to see what it does entail. And yeah, like I said, the only thing that was a little bit iffy, but it's kind of one of those things I've kind of grown used to. It's not really a criticism at this point for me. Is sometimes the production itself can be a bit spotty, but again, it doesn't really detract. It doesn't really detract, but I kind of feel like what does most of the legwork here is the voice actors. They kind of do bring to life this whole entire world perfectly. But yeah, I mean, like I said, what I kind of do appreciate is that it always starts at the table. The table is the crucial like moment for you every character to actually kind of get that moment, get that inspiration or get that like hit, make you go, oh shit, and then actually then go forward with something. So yeah, I mean, interesting to see what actually happens with this, because clearly there is monetary gain in this, but also there might be something else going on here as well, especially from the church's point of view as well, because it kind of feels like now the church has lost all like what's the word? Lost most of their power that they had originally. So it might be interesting to see whether or not now, because they've lost that power, will the world kind of see the theory of heliocentrism in a very different light, on the pun, I guess. Because beforehand, you kind of got the idea that maybe people weren't so is it perceptive? Perceptive is the correct term to new ideas, because it happened with Kozzy's character. Kozzy was a person who believed in God to a point that it was kind of scary, and he kind of like, okay, so maybe people might not want to kind of jump on this very much yet. But considering that now they've kind of lost that foothold, possibly now they might just kind of allow something like that to happen, because they don't really have the means to actually kind of oppose it anymore. And then now maybe with that second theory in circulation, they actually can in theory possibly gain their power back by just saying, actually, bro, no, theory not so good, bruh, or something like that. There is things that could happen in that way. That's what I kind of like about the show as well, because it kind of tells you that now more than ever they probably can in theory like enact that theory and actually not feel as if they can in theory get, what happened to all our favorite characters. I will not say, because it makes you sad. But yeah, like I said, what I do actually kind of like is DRAKA'S character, because it kind of does tell you immediately why she like really wants money. It's not the kind of like, oh, money's great and all. It's kind of like the idea of behind it with her father as well. It kind of makes you go, okay, that's the reason to why she is the way she is, and actually that's the reason why she wants money so much, because then at that point she won't feel sad she has money. There won't be any risk involved if she has money, and so on and so forth. So I actually really like that it establishes that almost immediately. So then you actually understand to why she does what she does, and actually why she is interested in this. Because let's be real, if she actually does, in theory, publish this book, if she does, who knows, then she might just become a millionaire. Who knows? That's the thing. We just don't know at this point. But I kind of like what this show does do with the characters. It doesn't really feel like you're always left in the dark. It immediately tells you everything you need to know. Actually, then go forward. That should be like, okay, I get it. This is why. This is why we're following this character. This is the reason why they're the way they are, and so on and so forth. It's very hard to do this in certain other shows, because I've watched shows that are like 150 episodes long, and you really don't get that moment with the character until maybe like 50 episodes in. We kind of like, okay, that's the reason why I like this character so much. I kind of feel like with Orb, we must get that immediately. Like, I mean, they establish so many things almost immediately that make you go, okay, this is the reason why we like this character. You don't ever really feel like you're in the dark, and everything you learn as time goes on adds more depth to the character, and actually make you appreciate it even more. So yeah, we're not in the tail end of the show just yet. I think it's 25 episodes left. Well, not left, but in total. So we're kind of nearing the over halfway point. So I actually can't wait to see how they adapt the rest of this arc. I do worry a little bit about pacing, but maybe my fears will be dispelled later on in the series. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, overall, great episode as always. Orb has always been Orb, and Orb is great. So until next time, if you actually have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on Twitch, and as always, do leave a follow on Twitch. It does help quite a bit. Leave a follow on Twitter as well. Helps quite a bit. Also, actually, will then know when new streams are live, and any other streams I may do as well. And also, actually have liked this video on YouTube as always, leave a like, leave a sub as well. Both of you help quite a lot. And I'll see you guys later on the next episode of Orb on the Moons of the Earth, the anime series.